Hey guys, this is Lamar Kane here from Up Your Geek. You can check us out on upyourgeek.com for more information. Today, it's November the 18th. We're here at the New Jersey Comic Expo. It's the third year here at the New Jersey Comic Expo in Edison, New Jersey. And this is our third year here. So this is kind of our birthing con too. So we've been here for every year of the event. Every year there's new people. There's new artwork, there's new writers, there's new comic book exhibitors. We love this con because it focuses on the artists and it focuses on the writers and it focuses on the comics, what these things are really supposed to be about. So one of the things that we're really into, though, we love our artists. And we love to promote the artists here. And today we are here with an outstanding artist that we've seen so far. We just couldn't pass up this opportunity. And I'll let him introduce himself. So.
Hello, everyone. I'm Stephen Jones for Art-o-torium Airbrush Art and Design. And I'm a vendor here at the New Jersey Expo. And I'm really enjoying myself. This is my first time here.
So first time at the event. So can you tell us a little bit about your artwork, your style of art, and just let the people know, what kind of drove you into doing this?
I started out a kid, pretty much kind of poor, so comic books was my escape. When it came to the trouble things that a youth would go through, as far as trying to fit in and peer pressure and stuff like that. So I always seemed to connect with a certain character, and that's where my self-confidence came from at a young age, which led to me end up drawing comic book characters and anime characters and so forth.
So what were your inspirations? Were there any artists, were you kind of play by, ear, so to speak, like the musicians who kind of get on the...
In the beginning, not realizing that the liner notes of who created the comic books was as important. I just followed a lot of Uncanny X-Men, not really knowing who the artist was themselves. And then as I got older, it got more into Todd McFarlane, Rob Liefeld is one of my inspirations as well. Stan Lee. Once you actually understand the backstory behind some of the comic books, it motivated me to want to draw as much as I fell in love with some of the stories growing up, the early stories growing up.
What was your favorite Uncanny X-Men? Did you delve into Marvel Comics, DC Comics? There's also Dark Horse, Image.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Were you versed in kind of going through all of those? Did you have a specific genre that you liked better than another?
And that's a really good question. Believe it or not, starting out, when I was young, my uncle was the older person in the family, so I would steal a lot of his comic books and read. Then he was a huge Daredevil, Spider-Man, and X-Men. And it was the Uncanny X-Men is where it all started for me. And my first introduction into Wolverine, his backstory, well, back then it wasn't that much of a backstory, but just the character himself, character introduction. I fell in love with that.
You have a Wolverine art piece here.
Yes. Yep, actually, you're absolutely right.
So when was this created and what...
Believe it or not, this was created a month ago, and the story behind this is I'm really, at this stage in my art career, I'm a hyper-realist or photorealistic airbrush artist. So I wanted to take the two-dimensional that I grew up on and wanted to make them look like you and I, like real people. So in my imagination or my imaginative world, that's where you get the outcome of this. Like Wolverine was my favorite, but it's like you got to make him look like a real person as much as you can. So that was my challenge, which led to this piece. And this was created about 2 months ago.
And you mentioned Airbrush. Is that what you base your art on?
And that's another great question because, believe it or not, my originals are mixed medium. So airbrushing is the foundation, but it's just one layer of maybe 3 or 4. Some is pencil, some pencil I use, some paintbrush I use, and some airbrush. Like if I reach a limitation with one tool, I'll just switch gears.
That's that's actually the mark of a great artist, like to be able.
Thank you.
It's great to know that you can go through these different styles. There are limitations. There are people who find it very difficult, or they're wondering like, how do people do this? It really takes a lot of time and effort. It really takes a lot of talent to be able to create something like this. This looks beautiful and magnificent.
Thank you.
People who try to imitate it, that have difficult time, it's because this takes skill. This takes years and years to perfect. And
Thank you.
Putting that kind of work into it is real dedication to it. And then making it into something that you can make a business. It's great because doing things that you love, and you do love this, right?
Yeah, oh, yes. This is the greatest job in the world to me. Shortly after getting my degree in psychology, I could either pursue a career that would financially take care of me, or I could follow my passion. And that's where this came from. Creating this level of artwork came from. I've always been interested. I started out at my mom's kitchen table drawing, like the Wolverines and the Cyclopses. And then I was introduced to an airbrush at a young age. I was already painting with a paintbrush. And then that led into more gallery work, which is like photorealism portraits. And then I went back to my roots, which was the comic books.
You mentioned that, just a sidebar about your psychology. I'm an addiction counselor by trade.
Awesome. Wow. Kindred spirits.
Yes.
Kindred spirits.
This is, getting into this media and going to these cons and interviewing real people, who, dedicate their hard work and bringing their passions out into these events. That's what I'm interested in learning more about with people, which is why I do this. And it's like, that's my passion. And it's
beautiful. Beautiful kindred spirits.
Yeah.
Kindred spirits.
That's great. This is, so we noticed some of the other art pieces back here. Can you tell us a little bit about your
I would love to.
other pieces here?
I'll explain to you my method of how I create a piece. Everything that you see here is an original. Okay. No disrespect to any of the digital artists, but my background has always started out with paper and pencil, number 2 pencil and paper. And then from there, it went into canvas work. So I wanted to offer something to my customers that initiates and promises that when you walk away from a piece that I created, you're the only one with it. So everything that you see here, none of this is digital work. All of these at one point in time was a original canvas piece. And then, for the greater good of art and people that appreciate it, which is why I do it, people bought some of the originals. And I keep the prints, but they walk away with it. And once that happens, I'll never paint it again. Wow. So if you was to purchase, let's say, a Wolverine, you're the only one with that Wolverine. I have rights to the to making digital copies, so therefore I can offer it to the community. But more or less, you are the only one with the original, and I don't ever paint any of this twice. So this is it. This is the last existing copy, other than the original that my customers purchase.
That's great. So can you tell us a little bit about what goes into when you're creating a piece that originated from another creator? Mm-hmm. What goes into the process of doing that and being able to getting the rights or getting permission to? Do you have to go through any of that?
But see, for me, a lot of times, if I'm mass producing something that's already been done,
right,
then it can become an issue. But all of these are originals.
Right.
All of these are original. I mean, like fan art.
Right.
Fan art.
Right.
So there isn't you won't find my references anywhere else. They're original pieces. I mean, granted, they're retrospects of characters from a series, but this original piece still came from me.
Right. You can see your touch. You can see, and generally in every artist, you can see where it's their story on canvas or their story on paint. Even if they're drawing something that's the likeness of another, I can see all of your style here, mm-hmm, in all of these art. So it automatically, I said to, is this your wife?
That now, it's a friend of mine.
Okay.
Girlfriend.
But well, I asked a question about, were you guys here? Mm-hmm. You said this is your first time here, but
yes.
When I had said I would know if I saw you.
If you saw it, yes, absolutely.
The year before, I've been here 3 years. I know a lot of the artists are here that write for comic books and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's a lot of independent people.
Yes,
I've seen the art that I've seen and the people that I've interacted with. I can tell what their art looks like. Mm-hmm. Like walk into a room. So if I were to see this anywhere else, I'd know you did it.
Yes, absolutely. All of these again are original pieces. There, the concept may start in one place, but for me, you could give me like a character that you created, but you want my version of it, and I'll only do it once, and then you know what I mean, you have it, and then that's it. But it's the version that I created of your character.
Can you tell us about this Darth Maul?
Yeah, believe it or not, this Darth Maul. After talking to a lot of Star Wars fans, I originally started out with the hooded Darth Maul here, and the original sold. And the print has its limitations, but for the most part, everybody, the general public, seems to love the originals. So I'll never do that Darth Maul again. So I created this one. It took, and for this particular, it's mixed media. So it's a combination of paintbrush, airbrush, some pencil, some light pencil. And believe it or not, this has a duality to it. This was done with black light. So if you were to have a black light, Darth Maul himself glows and the eyes glows as well. And again, I wanted to add a different element to what you normally see, from other art. I wanted to separate myself. So that's what gave birth to this particular piece right here.
And so another thought mm-hmm. that when you take to these, do you visualize the character?
Absolutely.
And put it on canvas, or are you looking at something, or is this just coming from?
A lot of them are both. Like for certain customers that want a specific, will send me a reference, and I'll switch the reference up to my version, or they'll have something in mind that they'll say verbally, and I'll sketch it out on the canvas and paint it at that point. From there. So it goes many layers. It starts from a sketch, and then I fill it in with foundation colors, and then I go in with detail.
Now, with a lot of artists, have you found that do people like request you to do things like so that they can get tattooed or get any artwork on their body? Because I know a lot of people like to go to professional artists.
Yes, no, you're absolutely right. I haven't had a lot of requests as far as tattoos, but I've done some flash art in my life, in my lifetime. I've done some, and that's when they come to me specifically, as you said so eloquently, and ask for something specifically to be put on their body.
This is something. It's something I know. I've had people in my life who've actually done that. And they're like, I want. They'll say, I want this version of this character from this specific artist, and they'll get it done, and it's like. It's their artwork, so what they'll do is some people will get things sketched on paper.
Yes.
Some people will get things sketched on their body.
Yes.
And
yes,
get it
absolutely.
tattooed in.
Absolutely.
And so I think that's probably the most interesting thing that I've seen someone do. But
that would be a great honor. That would be a great honor.
I mean,
I'm not ruling it out yet, because I'm sure after this interview I might be approached by somebody.
I mean,
that'd be a great honor.
Artwork, and he's got some great shots of the artwork here, but the detail, this General Grievous here, look at that.
And if I may, if it helps you, because you asked a great question, and I want to go back to that. If you notice, all of these pieces, they all capture some sense of emotion. So if you get a reaction out of it, I did my job. That's how I look at it. If you get some type of reaction from it.
This is, this is art that I can feel. So
absolutely. Well said. Well said.
And it's, this pops out to me. Like, we walk through here, and this all stood out to me.
And unfortunately, I apologize for not having the originals. but there's a certain depth to field with that. I'm glad that it residuates through the pieces that I have here, the prints. But and that's exactly when I created these. That's what I was targeting. I was really hoping to get some type of emotional reaction from the general public.
This just like it's like right out of the film.
And this is just one genre. I do a lot of, you know what it is, if I may, because you asked some really great questions. What I try to do is take your favorite character and turn it into a real person, and that can be anything. It can be anime. It can be, cosplay. It could be a photograph of something that you like. That may be two-dimensional, a sketch that you created. I'll take that sketch and make it a real person, or add my hyper real style to it to give it life in a sense.
Have you ever been approached? And this is another question. Referring back to the tattoo question.
Yes, sir.
There are some artists that people request to do their, written works. So someone writes a story, but they want the characters to be brought to life, and some artists get approached. And have you ever been approached about something like that? Has anyone ever wanted you to bring a character that you created to life?
And again, that's a great question. I haven't yet, but with cons like here, like the New Jersey Comic Expo, you meet a lot of writers. So this puts me in the path of individuals that write great stories, that are looking for a particular artist to bring their character to life. So I honestly, I imagine it's just a matter of time.
It's
just a matter of
promotion.
time.
I imagine it's really great promotion, but coming through and seeing this, like, man, I'd really love to, if I wrote a story, like, man, I'd love to see, what my characters would look like from this person. And
Absolutely.
would you be opposed to something like that?
No. I'm definitely open to it. When perfecting my craft, I did a lot of portraits, family portraits, dog portraits, portraits of loved ones that passed away. What you see here is me just actually going back to my roots, but I still have that structured training of doing like photorealistic portraits. So if I was approached based on a concept or idea, I definitely I'm open arms to doing it. If it'll bring a community of artists and writers and stuff together, I'm all in. I'm all in.
That union is great. It's great reading and writing a story, but then the illustrations.
Yes,
of the story,
and that can make or break. You can have a great story and then the artwork not be that great, and then the reader loses interest. Believe it or not, and I must segue. That's where this style of artwork came from, because it was an X-Men. It was mid-90s. Uncanny X-Men is what started it all for me. But sometimes in the comic book industry, they change inkers and they change pencilers.
Yeah.
And when they do that, when I was young, I would get frustrated, and then I would be at my mom's table drawing my favorite Wolverine the way he should have been, and that's what it spawns.
That's great.
A lot of these pieces that you see here.
You get a lot. So that's a really great point, because, and you're absolutely right. As a fan of art, as a fan of comic books,
yes,
the largest complaint.
Yes.
The largest.
Yes,
complaint
absolutely.
from fans
Absolutely.
are that you can have the best writers ever, but if it like hurts you to look at the pages.
Yes, absolutely.
People are like, man, I love this writer's story, but I really hate the artwork. I don't know why
Absolutely.
they changed the artist. And so you're used to it. And people have their own styles of greatness, but again, like for me, looking at the detail and I can see your style.
Thank you.
Thank you. But that's what you look for in a story. If you're reading a story, like, wow, I said, the story of this character is great. The detail, the person's, the features.
Yes.
Because then it's you creating, someone like put something in your ear and you're like, I'm bringing it out. You're visualizing it and making it with your touch, and that is what's special about the artwork. And you know, and that kind of what drew us to this table here. This is,
and I really appreciate it, because you basically, you know, for me, and again, you touched on something. Another avenue of motivation for my artwork has been to read a great story and it has no artwork to it, and then I'm at the table again drawing, you know, based on the emotional attachment that I have to a situation or a character or a battle scene, and then, you know, I'm here creating something that wasn't there before. But that's where, again, that's a great point that you made, and it's a segue to my style. It's definitely a segue to my style.
It's I love that point. And the one thing is, you know, growing up,
yes,
I've been into art. You know,
yes,
like that. Actually went to art school before.
Oh, awesome.
And then, you know, but that idea of reading a story, and I liked to write.
Oh, okay.
So what I would do is and this is relevant to the art piece of it. Reading the stories, like, man, why did they do this in this story?
Yes,
and
absolutely.
So I'd sit down and write the story the way I would feel like.
I would sit down and draw, but yeah, same motivation.
Like this happened.
Same motivation. Same motivation.
Makes sense.
Yes.
And then so like, man, why do these, you know, so put these characters on canvas and then bring them to life.
That's exactly where everything that you see. That's where it comes from. That's exactly where it comes from.
That we put into this, and it takes tremendous talent, tremendous skill.
Thank you so much.
So yeah, this is really great artwork, and you have an Instagram.
Yes, actually I do.
For your artwork,
my Instagram is Art-o-torium1 at Instagram.com, and Art-o-torium Airbrushing on Facebook as well. That's two of the main places that you can find a lot of my artwork.
All right.
Thank you.
There you go.
Thank you.
So thank you again.
Thank you as well.
Thanks.
Thank you as well. Yes.
Nice meeting you.
I'm honored by this interview as well. So thank you.
I mean, keep doing it, man. This is great.
Thank you.
I really love the story behind that. You know, that you'll never do the piece again, and if it's sold as an original, that's
I really want my customer to walk, anybody to walk away with you being the only one with it.
And that actually it adds value to, you know, what you're selling, what you're promoting, and this is a piece that you own.
Mm-hmm.
It is going to be the only
these are all my original pieces.
Yeah, it's almost like, you know, the Mona Lisa. There's copies everywhere, but there's only one.
Well, there's copies of the original, right? Of the original.
That's what I'm saying.
And no. You're absolutely right. But these were all handcrafted.
So these are,
you know,
what I'm saying. These are original, but these are like the Mona Lisa. There's copies.
Yes.
Like you can go get like a, you know, $20 copy of Mona Lisa somewhere, but the original somewhere is safe and it'll never be duplicated.
Yep.
In the sense that, you know, the person that created that won't do it again.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
That puts me in that type of mindset for your artwork, and that's tremendous to me. And I know a lot of our fans will probably be into that. Get a sense of the love for it, because a lot of the fans, they love art and they love writing, so this is like right up their alley.
Yep.
So.
It's a perfect marriage when you have great artwork and a great writer with a great story. It's perfect.
So, I look forward to seeing your stuff around.
Thank you so much, and I'll definitely be coming from this point on. This has been a great day for me at the con, so I plan to be coming here from years on in.
Awesome.
Definitely plan.
Awesome. Well, you will be here for years on end.
Awesome. I'll definitely look forward.
This is kind of like our hometown, so it's like.
Oh, awesome. I'll definitely look forward to running into you gentlemen again.
So you guys can catch this on upyourgeek.com. You know where to follow us. upyourgeek.com, upyourgeek on Facebook, upyourgeek on Twitter, upyourgeek on Instagram. We're everywhere. Just type Up Your Geek in Google.
That's right.
Google us.
Up Your Geek.
No, we're everywhere. But the most important thing is that we are here for this this amazing work.
Thank you so much.
We love the talented people of this con, and we will continue to promote. We will continue to showcase these people because they are great. We still need them.
Awesome.
So,
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for this moment. Thank you.
So this has been Lamar Kane with Up Your Geek, and as always, get ready, set, and up your geek.
Awesome.